So it's almost 10 o'clock and felt like doing another video. Maybe I'll make this a daily thing. Actually, because this weekend I'm going to be a little bit busy, so I don't know what. Definitely Saturday I won't be able to do a video, and Sunday we'll see what happens. But wanted to get one out either way beforehand. So here I am doing it. Bad hair, messy hair and all. Yeah, it's late. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, you don't like it? Tough beans. So, couple things just to talk about tonight. First of all, the Kavanaugh situation continued, and for a while it looked like Arizona Senator Jeff Flake was going to do his usual spineless coward act. One of the quote-unquote anti-Trump Republicans who talks a lot but doesn't really do jack shit. Just doesn't. And he said he was going to vote for Kavanaugh. Then he came back out and he encountered some resistance in the form of protesters, and I imagine Senate Democrats pressured him a lot too. And to be fair, he did seem actually kind of torn. I get the feeling that, the guy probably has a very rich lobbyist type of job waiting for him, and to follow that, he's got to follow the Republican orthodoxy. So maybe he wants to. I don't know. But the bottom line is he typically does not have any spine. He's a coward usually. And it looked like we're going that way again when at the last second he called for, despite voting to advance the nomination, which, interesting, he said he wants a 1-week FBI investigation, and he wouldn't feel comfortable voting on the floor for the final nomination before that. Well, my first instinct was, fuck this guy. He's going to say this, and then there's no reason that the Senate Republican leadership will listen to him. But to his credit, looks like he has some other senators behind him. So it seems like he went into this knowing that he's got to have enough people in the Senate, be they centrist Democrats or mainline conservative Republicans, to back him. And he does right now. So, as it were, for now, it looks like this is going to happen. Something to watch for. We'll see what happens. And with Flake, it's always, you got to be skeptical. But it seems like he did at least grow a tiny sliver of a spine. How long that lasts, I'm not betting for long. Probably internally he's itching to vote for this guy. But I think that, the Democrats, to their credit, have been actually relatively strong by their usual standards in this, and they've been fighting it hard, and they got him to pull over. But I don't think it was only that. I think the other aspect was video came out not long after he had supported, and he was approached by two sexual assault victims who just lit into him in an elevator. They didn't touch him. They weren't violent or anything like that, but they just very loudly and clearly explained that they did not appreciate that he is basically supporting downplaying sexual violence against women. So, and I think that had a very tangible impact. And that should be a lesson to any Democrats, mainline Democrats, who want to get mad when Ted Cruz is, heckled in, or is heckled in a restaurant, or the Homeland Security chief is heckled in a restaurant. These type of actions do have value. And it leads me to a point of, I really, really don't like the idea that there are some on the left that say, electoral politics have no value. And this idea that we can't even get involved a little bit, I reject that fully. But at the same time, there are a lot of establishment Democrats who seem to only be interested in saying, vote. Nothing else matters. Nothing you do on social media, nothing you do on, protests, going out there, no movement, politics at all. None of it has value, and the only thing that matters is that you register and you vote, which is absolute bullshit. Now, absolutely, you should register and vote Democrat. This, particularly right now, there's no other option right now, with the exception of state and local races, or safely Democratic districts where the Republican doesn't have a chance, things like that. But when it comes to choosing, if you got only a Republican and a Democrat, this year it's very simple. It's just a matter of harm reduction. I've heard it called. We have to do what's right for working people, and uniform Republican power is not good for us. And the idea would be the Democrats should take power, and then we will fight them, from the left. So, it really is something, though, that comes out, though, when you see how Flake was turned, how other people are turned. I went to the Stop the Unite the Right rally against those fucking Nazis. And since Charlottesville, they've had to go back into hiding, because everywhere they go, they're approached. These Proud Boys and, Richard Spencer types, all these fucking guys. 20 people show up to these events because they know if they come out, they're going to be exposed and they're going to lose their fucking jobs and have their lives ruined. And that's a good thing. So I hope that continues, and we should support those kind of actions. All right? Not talking about violence, merely just giving them a hard time. Ted Cruz should not eat a peaceful meal when he goes out. He shouldn't. Lindsey Graham should not. And maybe that'll get a message across. Now, you can do that, and you can also make a point to understand Republicans and Democrats, while they both suck, are not the same. Democrats are better than Republicans, and there are times you're going to have to vote for, quote-unquote, the lesser of two evils. And in 2018, it's not a hard decision, all right? With the exception of one issue, and that's voting against Kavanaugh. Joe Manchin, I think if any Democrat votes against Kavanaugh, then they should be excluded from what I'm saying. Because that's like, if you can't, fall in line on this issue, then what's the fucking point? But in general, you still vote, you do all that, but voting is not the only way you can have a benefit. And the people who say that it is are living in some sort of like conflation of a West Wing world. And I'm just saying that and thinking to a podcast I just listened to, Citations, what is it called? Citations Needed. I hope I got that right. But I've listened to a number of episodes with Nima Shirazi and Adam Johnson, and they do a lot of good work. But this one really struck home with me as a self-described West Wing super fan, who at the same time knows it's just a show. I love the show. I grew up with the show, but it's not real. All right, and too many people want to draw on the West Wing to think that that's how politics works, or it should work. No and no. So, but that's what these people are saying. Oh, only vote. It's not a good policy. You can't only focus on just voting. You have to. I'm more of a believer of, honestly, the 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You got to have people who are going to be running in the process for the time being. While they're absolutely, it's not the way to a perfect society for sure, but it's what we got right now. It's what we got to do. At the same time, we got to rally the movement, get popular support, and work towards the radical reform needed to make the world a better place. And that's absolutely true, and we should fight for that. So, that's where we're at. You got to have some electoral, you got to have some movement politics. It's how we minimize harm now and maximize benefit in the future. Another thing I just wanted to touch on too was, I laugh when I think about how the right wing has a knack for becoming, having quote unquote finding Jesus moments on certain issues only when it happens to them. Like these fucking guys, they'll crush you, they'll crush you, they'll crush you. And then the minute something happens to one of their ilk, they're usually right wing, rich, racist, misogynistic friends. Suddenly, they become criminal justice warriors, for example. As you see with Steve Bannon, suddenly they don't like how he's being treated by the criminal justice system. Or as we see Kavanaugh, why should we, he committed that as a high schooler. Why should we blame him? We don't even know if it's true. Well, shit, where were you when how many millions of poor, primarily people of color, were basically disenfranchised from the system for usually low-level drug crimes oftentimes, and these were small-level cases that they were incarcerated for a long amount of time, and then when they come out, their lives are ruined. They can't get a job. They can't get public housing. They can't get anything. So where do they end up? Back in the slammer. So, suddenly now you want to worry about what someone was doing when they were 17, when they may have committed attempted rape. On the flip side, how many people may have smoked a little bit of marijuana, or maybe they didn't even have it, and they still got nailed for it because of, they couldn't afford to handle their, have long court cases, and they had to get plea down. And those plea deals ended up stalking them for the rest of their lives. Suddenly you care. Call me crazy, I'm not buying it. All right? Maybe if we lived with a criminal justice society where these things didn't happen, and you motherfuckers weren't the ones backing them with your arcane drug laws, with your racist drug laws, with your incredibly racist criminal justice system. And it's not a mistake. It was on purpose, it was intentional, and it was meant with a very particular reason. And your media campaigns to indoctrinate poor whites to hate poor people of color, to hate immigrants, because you don't want them to turn on the rich, thus creating a class of deplorables. And to be fair, a lot of them were already there too. Certainly, her institutional racism is far from a new thing. So, just saying, be skeptical when someone's talking about, you're going to ruin Brett Kavanaugh's. Bitch, it's a job interview. Now, you want to have him follow the same rules that you placed on so many millions of other unfortunate people. This is what it is. He is looking to be one of the most powerful people in the country. So, it's not a matter of criminal trials and this and that. It's a matter of he's implicated. And for a lot of people, when they're implicated, they can't even get a job working at the local gas station. So you want to tell me that this guy can be support justice? No. All right, so that's all I got for tonight. But I hope everyone has a good night, a good weekend, and fuck the right.